And we are reading Mishle, Proverbs 14. Every wise woman builds up her home. I don't think it gets any simpler than that. Every wise woman builds up. In America, they make fun of homemakers. Women started to look at themselves as less than women because they were at home. They didn't even see. They were looking at it's the jealousy, it's man envy. Why? The dog isn't jealous, it's not the cat. The cat's not jealous, it's not the dog. Where did this come from? Uh, well, it comes from the devil. It comes from the watchers, the Nephilim, the sons of God, the ones who were jealous of humanity. Why? Because the adversary, who was a cherubim, seraphim, teraphim, these fiends, these angelic beings, one was jealous of the throne of God. Cain was jealous of Abel. The reptile, serpentine, was jealous of humans. Humans are jealous of each other. Then the species, the woman is jealous of the man, and the corrupt man is jealous he wasn't born a woman. It's just jealousy. Do you not know your value? You think you're not beautiful because you don't have blonde hair. You're a brunette, so you bleach your hair. Or you're an African American, you bleach your hair and put on a blonde wig. You're jealous that you weren't born with blonde hair. Jealous you weren't born with blue eyes, so you put in blue contact lenses. Jealous that you're not built like Arnold Schwarzenegger, so you go and have surgery and work your butt to the bone unnecessarily, trying to be something that somebody else that you see in a magazine or a movie. Jealous because your neighbor's got a Tesla SUV and you don't. Jealous, 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 jealous. Jealousy leads to murder, envy, covetousness, and you will stress yourself trying to be somebody else. You're not Michael Jordan. Be your own Jordan. Be you. What's your name? Be you. Be the best version of you, not the best version of someone else. And so the women and sexist, misogynist, feminist movement in America stop seeing themselves. Black people want to be like white people because they look at themselves like a slave. I granted white people treated you like a slave, but you're looking at yourself like a slave. You don't have to look at yourself the way someone else looks at you. Someone else looks at you like you're stupid, so you start believing you're stupid. What's wrong with you? The naysayers, the crowd is controlling what you think of yourself based on what they think of you. What do you think of you? And that's what the feminist movement did, and it broke up the homes. Women started to hate their own womanly, feminine purpose in life. So there's no one at home. Latchkey kids, we called it. There's nobody guarding the kids. In fact, you had the children, but you turned them over to nannies and mammies and nannies and everything else in between. A bunch of babysitters. You don't even want to take care of the child you have. You barely wanted to have the child. You prefer a dog and a puppy. You didn't know the value of cooking the meal. You saw it as feminist slavery, patriarch enslavement. Yet the health and the nutrient of the species is based on the preparation and the quality of the foods at home. Wow. Real food being cooked, not instant stuff at a TV dinner, microwaved where the bacteria festers. Real fire, not KFC in a bucket. You stopped caring. You told the kids not to want candy, to eat what's nutritional, and you started wanting candy. Something that made you less of a mother, a homemaker, the most beautiful creature in the world, taking care of its own. Wow. So the home got destroyed. Every wise woman builds up her home. You started thinking you were stupid, so you spent $800,000 on a college education because you forgot the real intellect that built the world was common sense. Doing math in nature, not in an algebraic class. You didn't read the geometry that's in the sand or in the trees and the leaves and the rocks. You couldn't learn to read real geometry. You had to have process geometry in a book. But a foolish one tears down with her own hands. Of course, a foolish one will kill her own babies. She doesn't build up her home. She tears it down with her own hands. A person with upright conduct fears Adonai, but a person who is devious scorns him. We are most self-destructive, aren't we? Suicidal.
And notice it says, a person with upright conduct, meaning you do the right thing. So, the world wisdom would be, well, if I'm doing the right thing, why should I fear God? Well, that's wisdom. You're doing the right thing and you should fear God. Because doing the right thing or not, you still are a sinful being and the Lord still holds your very life in his hand.
Yes, it does. It's not enough to want to do the right thing. It's not enough to wish to do the right thing. It's not enough to hear what the right thing is. It's not enough to read what the right thing is. It only works when you are doing the right thing. Applied science. Person who's upright, conduct, upright, with that upright conduct, fears Adonai. But a person who is devious scorns him. From the mouth of a fool sprouts pride. You can always tell when people are prideful. Why don't you just admit you don't know what the person's talking about? Be humble and learn. Why to pretend that you know? Why shake your head? Can you explain that to me further? Can you say that a different way? Oh, most certainly. Why do you need to feel so prideful? The greatest people that learn the greatest are the ones who know that they know little and don't know a lot. They're always seeking knowledge. From the mouth of a fool sprouts pride, but the lips of the wise protect them. Where there are no oxen, the stalls are clean, but much is produced by the strength of an ox. Think about that. Where there are no oxen, the stalls are clean. Well, you got horse and sheep. The proof that there is work is there's going to be fertilizer. Yeah, but much is produced by the strength of an ox.
So we see that principle played out in so many things. Yeah, we know people that their house, everything is so clean and organized. Every single thing is exactly where it needs to be. So, well, are you not living? There's no life.
Too clean. We don't trust people that look too polished, too clean, too perfect, too made up, too much makeup, fake eyelashes, fake breasts, fake chest, fake butt, Botox, fake lips. Something about your flaws are your features. Don't erase the thing that makes you uniquely you. You don't have to be someone else. Sure, you've got a quirk. Sure, you've got idiosyncrasies. It's what makes you baby you. It's what sets you apart from the next one that just looks like a polished robot. An honest witness will not lie. Well, it wouldn't be an honest witness, would it? People talk to you to go, well, to be honest with you, well, why would you ever need to say, well, to be honest with you, well, oh, why do you even need to preface what you're about to say with that statement? Don't you already speak the truth? What do you mean, to be honest with you? Well, I really wouldn't be honest with you. I would rather lie, but to be honest with you, just talk. But a false witness lies with every breath. People, you can't trust anything they say. They've lied so much, you never know what you're hearing is truth, particularly a flatterer. Now, someone who insults you a couple of times and compliments you a couple of times and doesn't always say what you like, you probably can trust that person. A scoffer seeks wisdom in vain, but knowledge comes early to someone with discernment. Wow. I've seen a young man with wisdom and an old man with foolishness. Keep clear of a fool. Well, do you? You make excuses for them? That's called an enabler in addiction. For you won't hear a sensible word from him. The wisdom of the cautious makes him know where he is going. You're not so quick to follow somebody, to join somebody. Don't be so quick to listen to somebody. If you can quickly discern that it's a wise person, that's fine. But what if it's not? Can you quickly discern that it's not and cut it off? You should. I don't just talk to anybody. Don't you just listen to anybody that walks up to you. But the folly of fools misleads them. Guilt offerings make a mockery of fools. But among the upright, there is goodwill, meaning they're giving something, it's goodwill. A guilt offering is a mockery of fools. They're not, you don't want to, it's like someone giving you a piece of bread with a stingy heart, or a steak with a stingy heart. It's better to have a piece of bread with a glorious heart than a steak with a stingy heart. But among the upright, there is goodwill in what they give you and what they do in their offerings. The heart knows its own bitterness, so don't lie. You know who you are. You're just thinking the other person does. Or maybe you're thinking you don't care if they do. You're just that wicked. And no stranger can share its joy. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger can share its joy. There's just no joy in you. You've grown sour and bitter. They call that an old maid. But men can be an old maid, grumpy grandpas. You've lost your hope. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger can share its joy. Just because there are no waves where you live doesn't mean there are no waves at all. So just because you grew up in a broken home, drug addicted, fighting parents, divorce, overbearing father, father not there, but overbearing mother, molested, it doesn't matter. You got to realize that there were no good waves in your house, but it doesn't mean there are no good waves. It's just not in your house. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. Better be in a tent with an upright man than in a house of brick and stone and steel with the wicked. It won't last.
So think about this. The Lord asked for a tent. The tent was not destroyed. Man built a temple. The temple was destroyed twice.
Wow, I didn't even get that. Wow, what a great revelation. The Lord never asked to build a temple, build a church, build a building. Never in the history of your so-called religions, no matter what religion exists, was never asked of you from God. That's you doing your own thing. But I didn't ask for that. I was in a tent and I was fine. Why? The earth. I have the whole earth as my temple. No, the whole cosmic universe ever expanding. What are you going to build that can house me when I live in every energy, every molecule, every atom, every angstrom of measurement that exists? How foolish. That's like going to Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk and saying, hey, I got a shack in my backyard about 4x4 I built for you. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know I'm Elon Musk, right? Mr. Trump, I know you own golf courses. I've got a little putt place in my backyard where my 2-year-old plays. I wanted to honor you. Oh, that okay. God, I just got this little cathedral called Notre Dame. Yeah, yeah. A little ant hill, a speck of stone and glass. You run into buildings thinking you're finding God. You're running from God. There is no building that can house him. There can be a way that seems right unto a man, but his ways are death. Why go your way? Go his way. My ways are not the highway to him. It's a byway. It takes you off the path.
So that really relates to most of what we experience today in the religious and non-religious world. Everybody think they are right. If somebody truly thinks they are wrong, surely they will do something to try and correct themselves. But very few people actually admit that what they're doing is wrong. Most people actually do believe that what they're doing is right. But, as the Proverbs say, the end of that way is death. Yeshua said, narrow is the path that leads to life. Very few walk it. He is the way. How many people actually walk with Yeshua in him, with an alignment of spirit, and have his spirit living inside of them? Very few. But very many religious people who do all kind of things.
And non-religious people, you all are the same. We talked in the podcast. It's so interesting how the religious people attack the non-religious people and how the non-religious people attack the religious people. But I've got a little revelation for both of you. You are the same people. Neither of you know who God is. The religious man seeks God on his terms. The non-religious man says God exists on no terms. It's whatever. It's arbitrary and random. And there is no absolute truth in anything. Therefore, everything's God and nothing's God at all. It's just, well, how I wake up and feel today. I'm a woman today. I'm a transgender today. I identify as a Yugoslavian white horse, even though I'm a Nigerian African man. Whatever my whim, whatever my mood, I go whichever the wind blows and whatever wind I blow. Stay away from people that are blowing their own wind, particularly from the wrong end. There can be a way that seems right to a person, but at the end, there are ways of death. Even in laughter, the heart can be sad. You know, the people that put on those fake pictures on their social media, they all pretending they're so beautiful, they're so happy, they're so successful, they're miserable, poor, broken, and suicidal. If not suicidal, they're homicidal. Don't connect with them, they'll stalk you. Even in laughter, most comedians suffer depression. And if you look at the history of comedians, most of them have either killed themselves or tried to kill themselves while you are going to a place where they make you laugh. See, the reason is that they're masking their problems they never deal with. And a lot of times people do that, whether it's through comedy clubs or alcohol or drugs or psychedelics or adrenaline. Adrenaline chasers, they're so unhappy with the normal adrenaline of life. The normal life should already be a high, but it's not enough until you jump off of Mount Ararat in a squirrel suit and become mashed potatoes or tomato sauce. Even in laughter, the heart can be sad, and joy may end in sorrow. No sooner than a baby is born, 10 minutes later, that baby dies in a hospital. You can wake up today. All can go well, or then all can go to hell. You can wake up today, and all is hell, and it turns into joy. You didn't see it coming. You thought you weren't going to get that job. You thought you weren't going to get that commission. You thought you weren't going to get an offering. You thought you weren't going to get the flowers. You thought he wasn't going to propose. You thought she wasn't going to say yes to your proposal. You thought the deal was going to be rejected. You thought the appeal was going to be rejected. You thought the pardon wasn't going to be given. You thought the merger wasn't going to happen. You thought the surgery wasn't going to be successful. You thought they were going to die. They come out of critical and they're in recovery. No longer in intensive care. The Pope was supposed to be dead 2 weeks ago. Everybody was preparing. Who's the next Pope? Oh, the news of my death is greatly exaggerated. He was on his death. He was minutes away from death. Oh, no, he's back in his chair doing the pontiff dance. You know, that wave of the hand. He doesn't move. Built like Humpty Dumpty because of his sickness. Even in laughter, the heart can be sad, and joy may end in sorrow. Joy comes in the morning. And there's that phone call. Somebody sees you. They were coming to visit you. Next, you know, they were in a car crash. A backslider is filled up with his own ways, but a good person gets satisfaction from himself. Listen, young men, a backslider filled up with his own ways, a dog returning to his vomit, going back to what you were delivered from, going back to the drugs, going back to the alcohol, going back to that broken relationship, that bad woman or that bad man. But when you are self-sufficient in the love of God within you, when you are settled, not looking for someone else to settle you, when you have peace, you're not looking for someone else to give it to you. You have it within you. No one can take it. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. But a good person gets satisfaction from himself. Do you not get that? Can you not eat a meal alone in peace? Who doesn't love eating with friends? We all do. We all do. I do. But I can be just as happy in peace, enjoying the work of my hands and the meal, being at peace with myself, not saying I don't have peace unless you're there. Now, we are called to give each other comfort. Yes. No, but yes. And we should. If you come into someone's life, let it be because you're bringing light and life. That could be in the form of a rebuke, a correction, because it's life and life to help and heal someone. That's what the doctors do. That's what the dentists do. That's what the chiropractors do. They bend you, hurt you, break you, cut you, stick you with needles. But it's bringing you peace because it's healing you. Bring life. But bring life to yourself. Speak to yourself in psalms and hymns. Stop having negative, bad thoughts. You can't even think right about other people. Do you know why? You don't even know how to think right about yourself. You've got to get your mind right about yourself. You've got to be at peace with yourself. I'm happy when I'm with you. I'm happy when I'm not. In other words, I'm not happy to be away from you. I'm just still happy I got many levels of happiness. I'm happy when I'm with my friends or with my grandma, and I'm happy when I'm alone as well. I'm not hateful of myself. I don't hate myself. Do you not know the value? And if somebody else loves you and you don't love you, something's wrong with you. Well, they love you. They found something redeemable in you. Don't you find something redeemable in yourself? They're willing to forgive you. Are you not willing to forgive yourself? They're willing to help to improve you. Are you not willing to improve yourself? I mean, I can help you with that. I used to work out in the gym. I help guys in the gym. If I'm willing to help you, are you not willing to help you? One who doesn't think believes, one who doesn't think believes every word, but the cautious understands his steps. Very careful what I believe. I'm not a doubter or a skeptic or cynical. I just evaluate what I'm hearing and I determine, making a judgment as I'm listening, making sure I'm listening wisely and making sure I'm not prejudicing what I'm hearing because of my bias or my lack of knowledge. And sometimes if I can't do that instantly, I walk away to think about what was said to me, or I do some research, or I ask more questions like a lawyer in a courtroom. One who doesn't think believes every word. You're not using your mind. But the cautious understands his steps. A wise person fears and turns away from evil, but a fool is reckless and overconfident. Oh, come on, John, put the pedal. Paul Walker died with his friend putting the pedal to the metal. Overconfident, over cocky, over adrenaline junkie, wanting too much, too fast, too quick, too hard. Don't be reckless. He who is quick tempered does stupid things. Well, we all know that. We've done it and we've had it done to us. And one who does vile things is hated. Thoughtless people inherit folly. Don't be thoughtless. Give thought to things, but the cautious are crowned with knowledge. Don't let someone rush you into something. Take a moment and think about it. And it depends on what it is. Some things do require an instant decision, and that's just based on discernment and being able to be, observe and analyze. There are times fight or flight, flight or fight. You have to make an instant decision. But if you've got the basic principles of reasoning and understanding and comprehension, you'll be able to do that very well. If not, you won't.
Well, thoughtless or thoughtful, it doesn't always mean, like Steven said, it's fight or flight. You already have those instincts built in. A thought could be in a splint of a second. It could be instantaneous. You already are programmed in your mind what to do in a situation. You see a car coming down, you see a child, you don't have to think, you act. It doesn't mean you're thoughtless. You did think, but it was so instantaneous, you didn't actually think. It was already there.
Yes. That's so true. And you'll be surprised. That's why many people go, I wasn't a hero. I didn't even think about it. I wasn't even trying to be a hero. A lot of people don't like getting medals in the military or in an accident being called a hero. Firemen don't particularly care for it, nor do the police officers, because they know in their heart, wait, what? Oh, don't you understand? It's what any normal person would do. And you can't relate to that because you haven't been in a situation to be the normal person and watch, you would probably do it too. The evil bow down before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous.
Well, not yet, but the day is coming when it will happen.
Yeah, the poor are disliked even by their peers. But the rich have many friends and the wrong ones. We all know that. Pretty people get that. Handsome men and beautiful women understand that. They don't like you. They're just coming to you because of your looks.
Yeah, they call it frenemies. A friend who really is your enemy.
Yeah, they're either jealous of you or wish they would be you, but they're not coming to you for your personality. They're coming to you because of your body, because of the car you drive, because of the money you have, because of the position you hold, because of who you know, because you're connected, because you look like an Arabian prince. It's a funny story. Guy, I'll let you tell it.
Well, Steven, some time ago, went to get an African dashiki, a white shirt with some gold seamings on it, and on his birthday he wanted to just go for a little walk. He went down to the Ritz-Carlton in South Orange County, wearing that fancy African white dashiki with his white linen pants. And while he was just hanging out at the Ritz-Carlton just to enjoy the scenery and the beach and, just go and have some fun, this guy walked up to him. Oh, oh, your Majesty. Why, I have houses for sale all over these hills. Surely I can provide for what you're looking for, your Highness. Here's my card. As he said as he was licking his chops, you look like money. Let me have a taste of you, your Majesty.
I have never experienced quite. I had no idea how I looked. I should have, of course, not only how I look, but how I look and where I'm walking. One of the most expensive hotels in the resort town of Dana Point. And not thinking about that because I don't think like that. I'm just out because it's a nice cliffside place to walk and the green and God's creation and the ocean and the sea and the green grass. Oh, just beautiful. I just wanted to go for a beautiful walk in a beautiful location for my birthday. And I wanted to look like my ancestors to some degree, right? I had no idea. And this rather astute real estate gentleman sees me walking down this very austere staircase in the hotel. And of course, I'm not even thinking about it until after it happened. And he gets one glance at me and he just almost starts nervously salivating. And so pleased to meet you. And oh, and I was in shock. I didn't even understand what was going on at the moment until he's nervously putting his hand in his coat and grabbing his business card and handing it to me. And I couldn't believe this was. I'm starting slowly to like get what's happening, like how I must look to him. He's looking for business. He's dressed in his very fine real estate suit, and I just happened to be walking, and it finally dawned on me how I must appear to him. He's going to carpe diem. He's going to seize this moment. I'm at the Ritz Carlton. I'm on this cliff. You must be one of the many who come from Saudi Arabia or Nigeria, some great king or prince. No one dresses like this. Well, wow. That was a very revealing moment, especially when your mind is not in the game and you forget how you look, pretty people, rich people. You forget the image that may be coming across and what someone may think when they see you. Yes, very uncomfortable I was with that. I could hardly say anything to interject anything. I just said nothing, and I just took the card because I'm just overwhelmed by the moment, and I said, "Well, thank you, and have a good day." That probably made me seem more arrogantly Prince, probably now thinking about that. But I didn't want to spend minutes explaining what the assumption that I'm assuming he's making by his actions. It was just best to keep quiet and take the card and keep walking, which is what I did. Sometimes you don't need to explain yourself. Just keep quiet and keep walking. He who despises his fellow sins. Well, but he who shows compassion to the humble is happy. Show compassion. Show compassion. They're poorer than you, uglier than you, less than you, shorter than you. Just show some compassion. Maybe they don't have as much knowledge as you. It's okay. They know something. Give them some credit. They know something. They may not know what you know, but they know what they know, hopefully. Won't those who plot evil go astray? But grace and truth are for those who plan good. Make a good plan. In all work, there is profit. This is true. You may not like what the wages are, but there are. Yes, in all sin, there is death. But mere talk produces only poverty. Just do something. Do something. There's profit in it. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the folly of fools is just that, folly. The crown of the wise. Their riches are their crown. A truthful witness saves lives, but a liar misdirects judgment, of course. That doesn't need any explanation, does it? And the fear of Adonai is powerful security. For his children, there will be a place of refuge. The fear of Adonai is a fountain of life, enabling one to avoid deadly traps. Amen. A king's, a king's glory lies in having many subjects. If the prince's people are few, it is his ruin. You know, the Lord wants children. He says, produce fruit. Physical children, and even more so the spiritual ones.
And be fruitful and multiply. He does not want an empty house. Yeshua said, My Father's house has many rooms.
Many mansions. Well, why? They're not empty mansions like many of you in Costa de Casa and Beverly Hills. You got 10 rooms and 2 kids, if that. No, you have 10 rooms and no kids. You have a dog and a cat.
So, so let's explain something that I think could be a point of confusion for some. We talked about the narrow road being the one that leads to life, but that is in comparison to the wide road that leads to death. But still, the narrow road, all in all, is still very wide. Remember in Revelation, it talks about a multitude that no man can measure. Remember the promise to Abraham, your descendants. He wasn't talking about all of those religious people that will die in their sins. He was talking about the real spiritual children of Abraham, those who do what he did, as Yeshua told the Pharisees and Yochanan told the Pharisees. He said, they will be more numerous than the stars, than the grains of sand. So the Lord does have his kingdom. We're not there yet. We have no idea what was and what will be. All we know is today. And even now, we don't even know everything that's going on today. You don't know how many people actually follow, how many people are faithful. We have no idea.
And we often criticize large families. Isn't that interesting? We've gone from the criticism of human success, prosperity, and multiplication, and only value physical matters and commodities being multiplied. We're more about being fruitful and multiplying with our stocks, our bonds, our real estate holdings, our asset classes, and our assets than we are about where the real wealth is. A man's quill filled with his children. The spiritual result, he that is wise winneth souls. Yeah, I don't even attempt. It just flows. I can't help but have children. Every day I'm having a baby or two or three, twins or more, or one, spiritually producing fish for Papa, disciples for Papa, sharing words. Uh, I have no idea how many sons and a few daughters I've produced for God. I'm not even trying to actively do it. It's just natural. It's natural. I can't keep up with it. And I couldn't possibly tell you all of the people that I talk to and meet that begins to set them on a path. Some come sooner, some come later, some not at all. Some are stillborn. The words come out and they die. Some are being incubated and they survive. Some come out and they're come out running. They're ready to go. We're producing babies for Papa in the ministry of prophecy and sharing and evangelizing. And those of you who have children biologically, have more. Have more. The fruit of the Lord. If you can, have more. This, the Lord is abundant. He loves the Jabez prayer of expanding. You want to expand everywhere else, why not expand with the children? Why not expand with making disciples of men? With a fear, praise Papa. It is God's glory. Being slow to anger goes with great understanding. Being quick tempered makes folly still worse. A tranquil mind gives health to the body, but envy rots the bones. The oppressor of the poor insults his maker, but he who is kind to the needy honors him. The wicked are brought down by their wrongdoing, but the righteous can be confident even at death. That's why, Paul, we don't mourn like a wicked man when we die or our friends die, when righteous people die who love the Lord. We're not crying like it's the end of the world. Precious in the sight of the Lord are the death of his saints. Wisdom is at rest in a person with discernment. Thomas, I met yesterday, 17 years old. He had more wisdom than the 60-year-old woman with the cross around her neck. He was wise with understanding. But in fools, it has no call. It has to call attention to itself. But in fools, righteousness makes the nation great, but sin degrades any people.
So here's a message for you, Mr. President. You want to make America great again? There you go. Righteousness. According to the law, not your own. God makes the rules.
The golden rule is he on the gold rule. Well, God owns the gold, not Fort Knox, not you. Righteousness makes a nation great, but sin degrades any people. Righteousness means doing the right thing, by the way. A king shows favor to a servant with good sense. Common sense? He didn't say he shows favor to the one with a degree from Stanford. Nothing wrong, by the way, with a degree from Stanford. I'm making a point that that's only the people that you show favor. Oh, where did you go to school? Why do you ask somebody where did they go to school? Who's your parents? Wh- what are you talking about? Who am I? It's not by a piece of paper. Where I went to school does not make me smart or dumb. My grandmother used to call that an educated fool. A king shows favor to a servant with good sense, but his wrath strikes one who shames him. Don't shame the king. Let's not shame our Heavenly Father. Let's not. None of us are perfect, but there's a difference in not being perfect and shaming God. You all have had to say you're sorry to somebody. Sometimes you have to say sorry to God, don't you? So why not, when people repent of their sins or someone does something wrong, don't be quick to throw them under the bus. Yes, all of us fall short. of the glory of God at different times of our lives, no matter who you are, prophet, king, a king that can't say he's sorry, or a king that can't make a mistake and repent would be no different than a servant who can. We all, we all, with the heart of God, are working towards being more like what he made us to be. But not all of us are doing that, are we? We all are not trying to be more like him. And in our folly, pick ourselves up and turn around and change. And, well, you've done that. Don't do that again. You hit me. Don't hit me again. Well, I'll forgive you this time. You still, how many times I forgive my brother? 7 times, 77 times in a day. God forgives us for a lot more. Why would we not forgive each other? Amen.